Wow.
Okay.
So it's like sweet and salty
Yeah, at the same time.
at the
But
same.
it's a drink. It's a drink and it's a lumpy. Now you made a drink lumpy. It's a lumpy drink.
It's a peanut Dr. Pepper.
Wow.
I think you need to go
I
talk to Dr. Pepper and tell him you got a new flavor for him so you can get, some royalties, something off of it.
You just ought to imagine the looks. Like sometimes when I'm at work or out and about and I do it, and you get people looking, what the heck is he doing? But hey, it's just something that I got from my grandmother.
I can't imagine. I'm not really a Dr. Pepper fan, but yeah. Why not Dr. Pepper? Is it because it's less sugar?
Yeah, mostly that. Try to, when I was trying to diet and stuff, because I just love Dr. Pepper. I got to diet Dr. Pepper, and it's about one of my favorite drinks now. So it just something about the diet Dr. Pepper and the peanuts, they just match well for me personally. So yes.
So now you got me wanting to try Dr. Pepper. I'm kind of well, I stopped drinking pop for the most part at all. I get like LaCroix or Pellegrino, soda water basically, fancy, and put sweet stuff in it, and that's my pop nowadays. But I think I'm gonna try me a diet Dr. Pepper today. Why not?
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna put some peanuts.
No. It's gonna be a negative for me. Like negative, not gonna happen. No. No. I'm just saying. But you let me know how you like it, Cinda.
Well, I will. I'm trying to think. We kind of had this discussion recently about weird food choices, and everybody was kind of gagging about my food choice. I can repeat it: popcorn and ketchup, or popcorn and hot sauce. I like putting that stuff on my popcorn.
I've heard popcorn and ketchup. I mean, popcorn and hot sauce, but popcorn and ketchup, that's the first.
I do, but I like to have a little sauce side of it and just dip my little popcorn in there. I just love ketchup. I'm a ketchup fan from, having to douse every food article, everything in ketchup when I was a child due to burnt crispiness. It was the only way to make things palpable.
Okay.
I mean, no diss on my mama, but she was trying to do some passive aggressive stuff with my dad, so she burnt the food quite often. And I fell in love with ketchup and A1 sauce and hot sauce and Worcestershire sauce, all sauces.
Every sauce to make the food taste better.
Yes, I had to do that. James, hey James, and hi Ramon, they both are here. James said he's tried milk and Pepsi and thinks that's not bad.
That was on the TV show. Milk and Pepsi with Laverne from Laverne and Shirley, wasn't it?
Yes. It's actually quite good.
Milk and pepper, like mixing it together or drinking it.
Yeah, mixing it together. It's just like having a float. Having ice cream with pop in it. What do y'all, speaking of, I know we're all from different regions of the country. What do you guys call it? I call it pop. What do you call it, Shelly?
Soda.
What do you call it, Sharon?
A drink.
A drink. Wow. And I have a friend that calls it a cold drink. That's what they call it down in Louisiana. Cold drink.
Cold drink.
Yeah. Give me a cold drink.
That's what we say. Go store, give me a drink.
I thought everybody said pop.
No, it's soda up here. It's all I know is soda, but I've heard people say pop.
And there are people that say soda pop.
Yeah.
Soda pop. Soda pop. That's funny to me. So what about you, Shelly? What do you do weird?
I don't think I have any weird food things. I really don't, because I'm just not going to do it. I'm one of those, no, it has to be this way. And nothing weird. I don't have any. I like ketchup a lot. What I thought was weird, they just came out with it on the market, which was ketchup and mayonnaise or my fries. Like whenever I
Mhm.
eat my fries, it had to be ketchup and mayonnaise. I did that since I was a kid, but now they came out with it on the market.
Mhm.
So it's not so
Mhm.
weird. That's why I said, now that you know this stuff, if you have a thought, go to these people and get your money. Because if I'd have done that, what if I'd have done that years ago, the ketchup and the mayonnaise, and say, let me create my own sauce or my own thing, and then I would have had my money. So now you can go to Dr. Pepper or a soda company, create your own soda, put some nuts in it, and put your name on it.
Yeah.
Drunk.
Do it, Jerron.
Trademark it. I might just have to do that. That
And
may be
mean,
remember the little
seriously.
people, she can publicize it and I can do the commercial.
yeah. Hey, it's somebody out there that likes it just like me that's hiding it just like I was.
But
You know what?
exactly.
I'm gonna try it because I like nuts, I like peanuts, and I like pop.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon. But I'm always curious about trying stuff. One time DJ Kid Disco did this story about this lady who had popcorn in her salad. She would put popcorn in the salad. And he was making fun of it. I was like, that sounds good.
That actually sounds good though. Good
Yeah.
salad needs a something. It needs a little pop. Salad needs a little pop. So why not put the popcorn in the salad?
Exactly. I like a crunch. They put like wontons, they put, tortilla chips. Why not popcorn?
How do you keep it from getting soggy though? Like you couldn't put much dressing in it, I guess.
Yeah, it would get soggy unless, especially if you're the type of person that pours a lot
A
of
lot of
dressing.
dressing on it, yeah.
Yeah, I tend to, do no more than a tablespoon of some kind of dressing because I just I don't want it to be completely overwhelmed by the salad dressing.
But not
But
even that. It takes away the health benefits if you pour all the dressing.
right,
Like people think I'm gonna get a salad, but you realize that when you put the dressing on, it puts back on all the calories. So you might as well have had a burger. That's
Yeah.
my theory.
exactly.
Carbs, calories.
Mhm.
Carbs, calories, all that kind of sugar. Yeah. Just give me the burger. How about that?
Yeah. Let's not tease ourselves here.
Yeah, I'd rather have the burger. Yeah, I mean, pass it along,
So, okay, well, thank you, Jerron, for that. We are going to move on into you.
Okay.
You were on the podcast like last week. Thank you so much. And I really enjoyed you on there. And one of the things that we were talking about is your introverted nature. And Shelly and I can get on board with that because both of us have a tendency towards being introverts, which is so weird because we're like very vocal, in your face all the time. People, we're on stages, we're talking to folks all the time. But as soon as they call cut or whatever, back in the shell, back home where I'm comfortable. So tell us about yourself, how you came up.
Well, I was born in Nashville, and me and my brother, mother and father, and grew up poor like a lot of people, and moved to a small town, Bolivar, Tennessee, where with my grandmother at the time, and we stayed with her until we got some things together. And in a small town like Bolivar, it's like 10,000 people maybe, and it's kind of exaggeration saying everybody knows everybody, but something of everybody. You know that person's family member or something. So it's one of those like close knit communities. And growing up, I was always, I was never a outcast, but I never fit in quite either. So it was that in the middle thing. So I was always just trying to figure out, my purpose or something that blended with me. And tried sports. I was garbage. I was not athletically gifted at all, but I loved, trying the sports thing to just trying to see what is something that I like. And then eventually, in 10th grade, I believe, I just took this drama class just by chance. Didn't know anything of drama or anything. And I mean, I completely loved it. Started writing, and I was like, this is my thing here. So I started in that drama class, and I actually wrote a stage play. This is around the time when Tyler Perry was blowing up. and I wrote a stage play, and the drama teacher loved it so much that we performed it for the spring play. And then even after I left, I think they're still performing that play. So I mean, no experience at all, wrote this whole stage play, and she was like, "Oh, this is pretty good work, so we're gonna start performing it." And then around this time, I graduated in '04, so YouTube maybe launched. I'm not quite sure if it launched yet or not. So I knew I wasn't going to go to college or anything, and I was like, man, I'm not finna go to LA broke, and put that strain on my parents and everything. So I immediately started working and going through this and that. And then eventually that led me to pursuing music, since I couldn't pursue filmmaking and all this and that, because I felt that was just so far out of my realm of possibility. I went into music, and then eventually found it out, me rapping particularly. I was trying to be a rapper, and I didn't love it either. So I was just trying to find something that meshed with me. And eventually after that, I was like, man, I can't do film, I can't do music. And I'm just not the type of person that could go every day to a factory and do that same methodical thing every day. So I was like, what is something that I can do, fresh every day, but I can still kind of affect a change or do something. So I got into law enforcement. So I went to the academy, got into law enforcement, and dealt with that. And that's something that I would say was I'm not sure if I put it to the way I really started finding myself, because you see stuff that you're not supposed to see. I've dealt with it all. I've dealt with deaths of all kinds, brutal stuff. I've been involved in a national headline kidnapping case. I mean, almost anything that you want to imagine that is horrible, I've experienced that. So, I was, kind of at the point where, I would notice that, I didn't mesh well. I wouldn't say didn't mesh well with people. I'm not shy, but I enjoyed being by myself a lot. And I kind of thought that was, over the years, I didn't know quite what it was until I started learning about this thing called being an introvert. And when I started learning about that, I was like, man, that's me to a T. Like, I'm not weird. It's people out there that, just can't be around, who love being alone and can't be around people for too long, because I'm not the person that I would say is shy. I can go out and talk with anybody, especially if, the conversation is inviting. And, I'm not carrying that conversation. I feel, the energy is perfect between everybody. So, that's when I started learning that. And then, just kind of, figuring that out about myself. And, in the midst of dealing with, things on the law enforcement side, all that stuff that we deal with, I got back into writing. And at this time, it's a little bit easier to get out there and produce films independently and do stuff of high quality. So I started back into writing and, making my own films basically as a release, just to kind of get away from what I'm doing for a living. And, just ever since then, just been building and building and building and making these films and getting better at it. And it's to the point now that like I can make a film of such quality that like nobody's realizing that I'm making them by myself. So, I had a series that's on Amazon that hit about close to 10 million streams. Like I'm doing really well, like in the independent. That series in particular was called The Sticks, and I have another one on there called Down Bad. That's the most recent one.
Down Bad.
Down Bad, yeah, and it's on Amazon as well. And I have quite a few movies that's on there, and like they're doing real well. And like nobody, if I tell them like, hey, I produced this mostly by myself, maybe my brother or my son will help me out on some stuff. They're like, man, no way, no way you do that. And that all just came just trying to find a release and, getting that creative release back, from, trying to get away from the stuff that I deal with for a living. So that's been me to a T. I'm doing this and dealing with all this and that stuff, and finding this creative release that I'm turning into a business. And
Is Sticks spelled with the CK or the X?
I spell it with an X,
Okay.
STIX. Yeah,
All right, cool.
yeah.
So, okay, so are you still when you say you're in law enforcement, there's a lot of parts to that. Are you a cop?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right, cool.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It seems like not everybody's life is the same. Everybody has a different path to end up where they go.
Mhm.
But it seems like all the different little parts of your life are really make you have a lot of skills
Yeah,
that your typical filmmaker might not have because they haven't lived that life.
yeah, yeah.
So have you used all of these experiences that you've had on your job and throughout your life in your
Oh,
work?
most definitely. I always say, everything happens for a reason. I believe God leads you into certain things for a reason. And law enforcement, as brutal and sometimes as that can be, um, it helped me as a writer so much, like the experience, meeting, this person at their low or dealing with this situation here or this situation there. It just you s- when you're really doing this job and doing it well, you're basically, looking you're outside of the world looking at itself. You have to judge from a neutral spot. So every little thing is, you're observing just all these different lifestyles, situations, and everything that's going on. And I use that in my creativeness. And like I'm at the point now that I really am trying to get to a point to where I'm doing this full time. It's being an entrepreneur in my production company. And, I don't think I would be where I am today if I never experienced law enforcement, experienced the things that I dealt with there. So, like it made me so much better as a writer, like when it comes to characters and knowing how characters interact and just different types of ways of doing these things. So like it helped, I would say, more than it helps me creatively and personally in so many ways. Uh, although I'm kind of at the point where I'm not quite sure if I want to continue doing this for a long time, but without law enforcement, I don't think I would have found myself to the way I am, now. So it was most definitely a part of my life where I'll never regret. I'm glad that I went through that point to get where I am now.
You said that college wasn't an option. Why was college not an option? You said no, it's not going to be college. Why did you just naturally say that wasn't going to happen?
Well, the few colleges that I applied to, I didn't get the scholarship. This is before because here in Tennessee we have this thing called the lottery, where now you can kind of like apply and get a bunch of scholarships, but that was kind of just starting around the time I was in school. And I didn't want to, if I didn't get a scholarship, I wasn't going to school. Like I didn't want to be the type to have to pay loans and all that back. And then too, at the time, I wasn't sure that I even wanted to go to college. Like other than being a filmmaker, that was about the only thing I was truly interested in. So in Tennessee, it's not much. Well, I think MTSU has like a film program here, but it's not much. It's not like LA. You can go or in New York find a pretty good film school close by. So I was gonna have to move to New York or LA. No money, nothing, to go. So I'm not going to do that and do that to my parents because, if I had made that move, my parents would be like, okay, and trying to help me out and crumb up this money, but I'm not going to do that to them. So I just immediately went to work and, just figured out as I went.
Do you ever think that down the line, if you do get yourself in the position that you're able to just have your company by then, do you think I've learned all that I need to know and there's no need for me now, will you ever like continue education when it comes to filmmaking, or do you think you've got it?
I probably will. It'll be something to benefit me, as an entrepreneur. Like I'm interested now more than I ever been in investing in business. So I could see me trying to take something business related, just to kind of, be, better with the business aspect of things and having that knowledge. I can most definitely see that. Just something to just kind of help me build my company and be stronger within the company and just anything that can help me gain a skill I'm all about learning skills. Like I just, you can never learn enough. So I'm always open to, learning things I don't know. Like Shelly was saying, her course with the introvert thing, that was very interesting to me. So I might have to take you on that. But like I'm always open to just learning and being better at places where I know I'm lacking. So yeah, I can always see me, pursuing that. Yeah, at a later time. I'll never shut that door.
Because nowadays there's so many courses. I mean, I teach people how to create a course out of their brain, their knowledge, their
Mhm.
experience. So you don't actually have to go. I mean, go to college. I'm not saying don't go to college. People out
Yeah.
there in the world, don't tell your kid don't go to college. But there are courses.
Mhm.
There's so many courses and people almost that take the learning curve off of what you do. It's like all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this person did this exactly what I want to do, and
Yeah.
they have the steps process and you
Yeah.
go to them as opposed to when you go to college. I promise you, I don't remember nothing from college. I
From
mean, I'm
college.
not meaning nothing that I used from college. It was like,
Yeah.
what? I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Statistics. I
Yeah.
couldn't even spell statistics if I tried. No, I'm just joking. But I'm saying, like, statistics. What was that for? Tell me what that was for. Tell me. I don't know. It wasn't for nothing. And just most of the stuff I took was like, we didn't use this. We didn't do none of this. So I believe there's someone out there that can help take it to the next level that has a course exactly made for what you want to do.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I don't know if it's like that, if everybody, but I know in my school, I just had this. They never made it like that, but I had this perception. We had the vocational and the university path. Either way you can go. So the university sets you up to go to college after school. Vocational gives you a trade and a skill to go directly into the workforce with these skills to do this and that. And I had the perception, or it just could have been my own thinking, that if you went the vocational path, it's because you weren't smart as the kids going the university path. And what I'm noticing now is that the kids who learn those trades, they're the ones with their own companies, hiring people. They getting all the businesses, and I know of somebody with a PhD right now that's unemployed. Like it's just amazing how much skills, having a certain skill is in more in demand than a degree is in certain aspects of the world right now. So I would
I,
tell
I
anybody, don't feel like you're obligated to have to go to college.
I heard this conversation once. I'm listening to stuff all the time, so I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about how, you know, there was slavery, then there was Jim Crow, and then there was taking people out of trades.
Mhm.
These were all ways to keep people at a certain point of less than and in
Mhm.
lack. Because when they took the trades out of the schools, and they stopped making that an option and started inferring that the less smart people do the trades, then all those jobs that young brown, black, and whatever people used to do are now all through the families. A lot of legacies of
Mhm.
Caucasian, honestly, legacies when it comes to electricians, when it comes to plumbing, when it comes to all these different trades where you make huge sums of money. And they stop having to share that,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know,
And the
and
trades that you have to have, like there's stuff that you have to have, so you're always gonna make money. And
mhm. Yeah, and it just, so it was my sister's son was in a program to teach him how to build houses and all the little aspects of that. And we were all like, congratulations. Yeah, we got doctors. Yeah, we got lawyers. Then we got actors. We got whatever. But you are the first person that's doing a trade that could equal legacy for your family down the line. And maybe it will with me, hopefully Sophia will do well with, this side of things. That's my daughter. She's becoming an actress also. And the lawyers and the whatevers. But it's to have people in your family that do everything.
Mhm.
That's what brings the strength
Yeah.
into the foundation of the family and the extended family.
Mhm.
So, but I
I
think
don't know if I when you talking about family, brothers and sisters. I don't know if I missed it. Are you an only child or are you have siblings?
I have a brother. Yeah, it's
Okay.
me and my brother,
Older, younger,
younger.
younger.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. James said there are many courses out there now. The sky is the limit for you. Yeah. I think if I had been alive now or young now,
You're alive now. You sure are alive now. I see you. Hey.
I know, but you know what I mean. If I was Sophia's age now, I don't know if I would have gone to college. I don't know if I would have. I don't think I would have. The
I know I
reason,
wouldn't have.
one reason I went to school was because at that point, no one in my family had finished college. Both of my parents dropped out of college when they were seniors for different reasons. Yeah, me, I was the main reason. My mother had to drop out because they kicked her out because she was having this brown baby. So they didn't let her finish school. And my father got drafted and, a bunch of, yeah. So, they weren't able. And at that point, my grandfather hadn't graduated. None of my aunts and uncles have graduated. So I was like, I'm going to be the first. I'm going to be the first to go to college. And by my junior year, I knew that I didn't need to be here. I was like, what am I doing here? I enjoyed it. It was fun. I was like, but what is this for? Why is this helping me grow? Because I had started working professionally. And my voice teacher at the time said, so why did you start college? And I told her, I said, because of my family. She said, has that changed? Has someone graduated all of a sudden? I said, no, not yet. She goes, then what are you doing? This is why you're here. You're not here just you're here for a reason. So be here and be thankful for it and do what you got to do. And that is why. But I think now, I think I would have just taken classes online. I would have worked in a lot, learned workshops in a lot less expensive ways. I'm thankful for my education, but a lot of it was baloney.
And that's some of the beauty and the curse of social media. Like I have to kind of limit my social media intake because I just hate seeing so much negativity because I deal with it for a living. But one thing about it is, the information age is so much more now than it was, 20, 15 years ago. So it's so much more information out there to get that, like, my son is, his brother has access of getting to where before it was either you go to college or else, and so I believe now a lot more people are more comfortable with just, going out there and seeking that knowledge themselves.
Tracy and Marcia are with us. Hi. Marcia says, hello, blessings to you, Shelly. And Tracy's like, she works for a college and it depends on why you're going. That's, like my daughter. My daughter did not have to go to the school that she went to. Of course, she had her dad really saying, I want you in school because he's an academic guy. He's from the whole Ivy League and all of that. So that's what he really wanted. But when she was obviously not going in that direction, he was like, so for her, it was the perfect fit because in her school, which is called Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts, their whole focus is a 4-year, it can be 2-year program or a 4-year program, but it's on acting, either in musicals, straight, all mediums. So it's really useful. You're not taking statistics, okay? But you are taking accounting and business for actors. Every class she takes in this 4-year program towards her Bachelor of Arts is towards learning how to live in entertainment today with all the differences today that there are, because it's not the same as it was even 10 years ago. And so there's something for everyone, in other words.
But I think there's a lot of colleges that are doing specified. I believe in that. So the thing is, Tracy, I know where you work. And actually, I went to that school and I told them I wanted to be a teacher, but you got to have a master's degree. I said, but you just said my resume was impeccable. I had no more than a teacher, but just because I didn't have a master's degree, you didn't want to give me the job. And I'm saying, I just want to teach. But the thing is, God is so good. Last week, I had the opportunity to be a guest lecturer at Temple University. Temple University was a school that I went to and I failed. but I was able to go back with the knowledge and the skills and the connections that I had to actually teach a guest lecture. So the fact that it has specialized and the course was about social media, that's something that we would not have had back then. It wasn't available to us then. So I think that they're specializing in certain things now. They get it. They
Mhm.
see all these different courses coming up, and these schools are like, you know what? We're going to teach you this. We know you want to learn this, specialize. You want to learn this, we're going to specialize in it. I think that's a lot going on right now because they see the money going, they see the money.
Yeah, the money is saying goodbye because people are like, I don't need all of that. I don't need to know calculus. I just don't need calculus for my life. But I do need to know how to navigate the businesses that are dry in some seasons and not in the others. It's a business, and people are figuring that out. And it's funny you say that about the masters, Shelley, because I had the same experience. I wanted to teach. You know, I know at the school I went to, the teachers are great, but most of them do not have the experience that I have. And I've been teaching for years, but because I haven't had time, honestly, to get a master's degree, it's not even a consideration that I be a teacher because I don't have the master's. So, you know, that's just something you have to say, okay, well, then I go a different route if I want to teach people. And that's why I'm working, getting this LLC together and getting my thing together so I can do consulting and coaching and, you know, take showbiz into another level, you know, because I, you know, can consult and help people. And I do it for free all the time. So
And now it's time to get paid. Listen, there's courses that are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Now, when I get off of here today, I'm going to a course right now that is a $3,000 course. They're everywhere because people are giving you. It's almost like a learning curve. You know, you throw the ball and, you know, it's like, hey, I know how to throw this ball and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. You do it this way. You go lean back. You go like this. Here it is. That's what it is. I need you to tell me the exact way you did it and how I can get there as opposed to saying, well, look at this textbook. Book and you do it this way. And if you never did it. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what Showbiz has to do. I can't wait. I'm telling you, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting. So I believe that, Jerron, you want to do this full time. If you want it, to now is the time to create those type of things. And that is the quickest way to get there that full time where you're teaching something that you know. Because you mentioned something on the podcast that was amazing and I haven't even done it. You said you learned how to do the camera work yourself.
Yeah. And it's so that you say that, Cindy, because like education is so much in demand. Like right now, it's like I'm actually at the point of I'm building my own course. Like I'm building it, I'm outlining it now because I was told, you know, that could be a good amount of passive income. Just, you know, build your own course and let that stack. And like I taught myself those skills. And, you know, it's so many people out there. Like I still go to seminars and stuff like this today that I'm like, you could have just invited me to talk about this. Like it's still this old thinking that you need 100 people to make a movie and all this and that. And, you know, I have a skill where a lot of people are interested. Like, how are you doing this? So I came up with that idea and researched myself on how to build a course. And I'm actually in the process of building my own course and getting ready to put it out there. So that's you know, I'm noticing that, you know, education and people looking for a niche thing that they're interested in or wanting to pursue, that they're going for courses for that. So that's real cool to see that comment on board.
Of your movies, I know you're getting ready to premiere two of your films, right?
Yes. I'm actually getting ready to premiere 2 this Monday on Halloween. Two horror films that I've wrote and produced, and I'm doing it as a double feature premiere. So I'm selling tickets for that now, and you know, basically what they call four-walling, where I you know, I rent the theater and I basically promote it myself, and I'm selling tickets for it myself. And then I premiere the films, and then I'm using the word of mouth and that from this first screening, and I have one. This particular one is in Memphis, like a little subdivision off of Memphis called Bartlett. And then my next one is going to be where I'm from here in Jackson, which is going to be it's a larger auditorium. It's almost 450 seats. So I'm gonna use the smaller one, which is about 100 seats, and try to get that one to build up for this one. And just building this business up. This what I'm doing. And nowadays, as a especially when you're indie, you can't compete with the majors, so you have to use that more of a, what I'm learning is more of a niche genre. And that's how I got into horror films, because it's real niche. And then if you're making black horror, it's even more niche, so it kind of carves you out of racing against all this competition, because you'll never outspend these major companies and stuff trying to promote your film. And if you can reach a small niche of people, it's quicker to cut through that noise to reach your audience, when you're trying to service certain niches. So that's what I'm at this point, just continuously learning. And that's something that I've learned from just courses, and just going out there to seek that knowledge. And I'm at that point to where I'm gonna see how successful this is.
So your films, when you're going to premiere them obviously in theaters,
Mhm.
when will we be able to see your movies?
I have one that should be around January. The Den Black Film Festival in Denton, Texas. I'm gonna see how that goes. I love them. Linda and Harry Eady are the directors of that festival, and I love that festival so much. So I'm gonna give them the chance if they want to premiere it, on the festival circuit. And then I'm distribute it, uh one of them most likely in January. And then I have another one called The Reaper Man, that I'm kind of, it's my larger scale movie. And I'm gonna kind of promote that one a little bit longer. So it'll probably be next fall or something, around the time that one gets over.
Okay, cool. Well, I can't wait to see him because I'm a horror fan. I am. Yeah, I am. I don't like slasher films.
Yeah.
I don't like, that kind of stuff, but I do like thrillers, supernatural, and, make you think
Yeah.
kind of horror. And from what I've seen of your stuff, it leans more in that direction, and less away from the.
Yeah. And I'm more of a crime person, because I'm dealing with law enforcement and stuff. I all these stories and stuff. It's so much easier for me to write dramas and crime dramas and stuff. But being my budget size, and the way I'm able to do things, is just harder to do that, because it requires so much more cast, so many more locations. And it's easy to overwhelm myself, because like The Sticks, I did that quite a few years ago, and we did that with absolutely no budget, like literally no budget. And I almost burnt myself out trying to do a project with so much cast and stuff. And then I attempted it again, because short-term memory. I attempted it again with my series Down Bad that I released last year, and almost burnt myself out again. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, I swung for the fences with those two projects. I'm going to kind of do my own thing in this horror genre, but I'm going to do projects that kind of, build around story. I'm not trying to gross people out and do all these little cheap thrills, kind of like Jordan Peele. The one thing about Jordan Peele that's brilliant to me, he puts so many themes and messages in his films, and it's within the horror genre, but it's so much more. Like, you get so much more out of it. So that's kind of like in the area where I'm living at with these films, the way I can kind of reinvent the genre in a way. But for people who really love the genre, the horror tropes and stuff, I can still give them that without going too overboard into some of this other stuff, because horror can get out there.
Yeah.
So how do you I just clicked on the Down Bad and I saw the series, but how are they doing? Because I see that comes with your subscription to the actual Prime. But how do they pay you off for those type of things? Because I didn't have to pay for that. I see that Sticks you have to pay for.
Yeah. Well, Down Bad in particular is doing very well in terms of viewership on Amazon. But what Amazon is doing here lately, because content is getting just so saturated, it's basically paying you. They have this crazy metric that nobody can figure out yet. and they're, if you get this threshold, they pay you so many cents per hour, which is like nobody can reach it because nobody can understand their threshold. So you're basically making 1 penny per hour streamed. So I have, I think the last time I checked Down Bad, I was hitting around, and I just released it last year, 6 million unique streams. But the money, like back when the sticks were doing well, if this had been that same time that I released Down Bad, I would have made well over my budget back, and I've been happy right now. But since Amazon kind of chopped it, their rates, the return that I'm seeing, although my views are high, is not that well. So here lately, it's just the industry. It always is ever changing. So you have to find ways to do more things. So I'm actually releasing Down Bad by week on YouTube now. It's on my YouTube page. The second episode just premiered. The third episode premieres tomorrow. I'm doing it every Thursday. And like my focus now is to use ad revenue and try to build an audience on my YouTube page so I can get monetized and start, just going directly to my audience and monetizing my audience and using it that way, because these streaming sites are changing every day, and it's hard to keep up. So Down Bad is doing well on Amazon as far as viewership, but monetarily it's not doing the best for me. So
Everybody I've spoken to that has done movies and put it on Amazon are having that experience.
Yeah.
But the place where they're making money is Tubi.
Tubi. Yeah.
Tubi is the place because it's ads on there. There's commercials. So I was talking to a friend of mine. He was like, you need to just make a movie now. You need some residual income. Make one of these movies that you've written and put it on Tubi. And you will get your money back, you will get paid. And so that is the direction now. And I know that, I don't know if they're still doing it, but I know Netflix is talking about doing it so like Tubi. So you can have commercials. Yeah, they'll have if you have the commercials, then it's a free service as opposed to having to pay a subscription. And and now that they've made it so that you can't share like my daughter, even though she's still my daughter, she's in school, they're shutting down her ability to use my Netflix.
So did they really did it? I heard about that, the password sharing. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, you can't do it anymore. They did that on Disney too. They did it on I can't remember one of the other ones. You can't share your password anymore.
But how do they know that you're sharing your password?
Because of there's code that shows where you are. And where you are is where it's, you can use it. Like if somebody in this home where I am right now, we could watch 2 different televisions on Netflix, right? But because she lives in California, it's obvious based on her code that she's not here. And so she can't she's got to buy her own. But they said, but we've done this for you. Now she can, or your person or whatever, your child can now keep their profile and all their information will come over to their paid.
Yeah.
To their paid. Yeah.
But what if somebody comes over your house and they say, oh man, I want to watch Netflix on your TV, and they got to put their code, they got to put it in.
No, they could watch at your house. They could watch your Netflix.
No, meaning I might not have Netflix, but they come over my house and I don't have Netflix, so they can put it on my TV so we can watch their Netflix.
Right. Right. As long as they're with, but the people that share, because a lot of families were sharing. It's like, I know in my family, one person had Hulu, one person had Disney, one person, and then everybody shares. So everybody gets everything. They've put a stop to that,
I think what they were doing is like, if as long as you're logged in at that one spot, you're okay. But if you're logged in, say in California, and that's where you logged in, and then at the same time you logged in, somebody else logs in New York, they're gonna block that one. They're like, no, you're not at 2 places at one time. So that's kind of how they're doing it.
So I have to let my daughter know because it literally just started, and my daughter's gonna be very upset when she realizes she doesn't have Netflix.
Did it just start? Let me go check this Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Make sure. Let me try. Let me try.
So we only have 11 minutes, and you've already kind of talked about what you got going on, but I want to, usually DJ Kid Disco does a little thing at the end. Usually we're getting into some kind of emotional relationship, situationship conversations, but I kind of have another direction since he's not here. I heard this story yesterday in Minnesota. There's a story of this child, this young kid, who's in a foster system, who is autistic. He's autistic, lower functioning autism, and nobody wants him because I don't know if you've ever dealt with autistic children, but they're very strong and they can, depending on how they're triggered, might or might not be the sweetest people in the world or the most violent people in the world, because they have the strength, especially when they grow up. They still have the mentality possibly of a 5, 6, 7-year-old, but they're now 25. And this kid, I think it's a young teenager, has been in a hospital for 7 months because the hospital can't send him away. It's legally, children get to stay as long as they need to until someone can place them or put them somewhere else. So this kid has been beating up nurses, and like this one lady for months didn't work because I think he gave her concussion and really bad. So from your point of view of law enforcement and just humanity, what do y'all think the answers are for stuff like this? I don't even freaking know.
So
Wow.
I mean, that the only way that would get helped at all, it almost has to be some type of place out there that specializes in helping autistic children, because for him to be still stuck in a hospital, I've never heard of that. That is amazing. So like he's
I
just,
couldn't believe it.
yeah, like wow. So like it's not helping him at all. And it's only making it worse because he's not getting the help it sounds like he needs. So when you're dealing with that, you just it's good. It's just gonna get worse. It's gonna always be that because he's not getting that reaffirming that he needs, and it should be somebody who specializes in that helping him, to do that. And that's where you deal with. I know in my area where we have kids and stuff, we have like we call them group homes where we have a bunch of people with mental health issues. They stay in this house and this agency is caring for them, and they're just basically sitting ducks. They're not getting the help that they need. It's just mostly an insurance thing, and we deal with that every day, all day almost. And and it's not enough resources out here, to help people like that. So it's almost, they're just sit ducks that people are continuously getting hurt or dealing with that when they're not qualified to deal with that. So I'm not quite sure how to assist a situation like that. You almost need qualified people to deal with that. But how do you get those qualified people
So
in the funding?
why don't, it's a hospital, so why don't they bring in specialists, autism specialists? Why can't they? It's a hospital.
Or therapists.
Yeah, I think the issue is the fact that they've shut down a lot of places that dealt with these kind of situations. They've shut down these homes. They've shut down, the monies have been taken away.
Yeah.
So they don't have the capacity to handle that. You know what I mean? And the hospital is dealing with physical emergencies, sometimes mental emergencies, but this is kind of like in a weird gray area.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing physically wrong with him. He was brought there and dumped there because no one wanted to deal with him, but there's no structures in place to help him.
So is this
And
like a medical hospital or psychiatric hospital?
no, it's a medical hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a it's not a mental hospital. That so many of the mental hospitals got shut down all
Yeah.
over the country. So there's just, the very few places that they do have, they're overrun. There's too many people in there. They don't have enough. I know out in Los Angeles, oh my gosh, I mean, literally every step you take, you're running into people that should be getting help.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're homeless as much as it is because they have bipolar, or because they've, there are just so many different issues that people have, that there's nowhere to help them.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a strong family support like this kid,
Yeah.
then they're just left,
Yeah.
and on a system that doesn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So I was just,
And you don't have training, like a lot of it, like it's just everything leads to money, and you don't have enough training and people getting trained to deal with those type of people. Because I worked at a psychiatric hospital for 5 years before I went into law enforcement. So like now when I'm on the street, like I can kind of tell like something's going on with this person. So I kind of know how to deal with them from that. And it's getting better, especially as far as officers, as far as getting trained into doing that. But that hasn't always been the case, to where they think this person is acting out because it's they're wanting to act out, they're being this and that, instead of, okay, something else is going on here, so I might need to approach this differently. So it just comes down to, especially at that hospital, it should be somebody there that's certified into some type of something to deal with people like that, knowing that they have those issues going on.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, I'm
they
sure
can't
there's
put their money
some.
out and just bring in a specialist. There are specialists. I know people who are have their kids were autistic, and they brought in specialists, and honestly I saw the turnaround in the children, meaning the same child that wouldn't talk to anybody started to talk. So when they brought in the specialist, it helped them. So it's a hospital, they got the money, they can bring somebody in and get them the help they need. They just don't want to do it, or they just want to keep allowing him to beat them up, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm sure, I can't imagine that a professional facility would not have brought someone in, but there is some way things are falling through the cracks. Hi, Vaughn. Yes, we are live right now. Yeah, and is a sad story, Tracy and James. And I just wanted to bring it up because I didn't know what to think. I was like, there are so many issues and problems that we're having, important ones, that we're not talking about, that no one even knows are happening. We spend so much time talking about,
Trivial thing.
trivial things that don't really matter. A lot of fighting and arguing about baloney. And things like this are happening under the nose of us all, and we just don't even know what to do. And I sure don't know what to do. So, yeah, we've been on a while. We always come on at the same time, 2:00 Eastern. So you can always come back, Vaughn, and visit us from 2 to 3 live if you want to. We're on every Wednesday unless something comes up and we can't do the show, which is rare. But anyway, that we are to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Jerron, for your expertise and your journey that you're on. We can't wait to support you and keep on watching what you have, and hopefully maybe one day we'll do some work. Keith is like, y'all gotta work together.
Yeah,
So,
Keith is a great guy. Keith is he's grown in one of my good friends. So yeah, he's always, talked highly. He's like, y'all gotta work together. Y'all gotta work together. So
yeah, he's how I've been aware of your work, because he sends me clips all the time. He sends me links and stuff. So I've been able to, I'm gonna actually have to have Keith on the show too.
Oh yeah. Get him out of that shell of his.
All right,
Down Bad. I'm gonna check out this Down Bad that's on the thing. I'm gonna check out your stuff that's on the Prime and
check it out.
Good thing.
Definitely. All right, well, Jerron, thank you so much for coming. Shell, you got anything coming up you want to share?
Yeah, you know what? There is an adult prom tomorrow, and typically there were tickets were pretty high, but I get to bring a few guests. So if anybody out there wants to go to an adult prom, you want to go have a date night with somebody, you can direct message me on Instagram at Shelly Show Williams. It's going to be it's at a castle, beautifully decorated, food, fun, music, DJ, live band. But I get free tickets, free passes for those who are interested. If you have a boo, or even if you don't have a boo, you can bring your girl, your homie, whatever. Just two people coming out to party. If you want to DM me on Instagram at Shelly Show Williams. That's right here in the Pennsylvania area. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to be at the prom. What I'm hosting, I'm gonna be on the microphone. That's what I'm
I
doing.
wish I could be there. That sounds like so much fun. Thank you,
It's gonna
John.
be fun.
John said great content as always. Let me see what else. What else? I've got Latasha Hyatt coming on this week on the podcast. So please check it out on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast. Check out my TikTok video, Showbiz and Walking Meditations. And thank you, John, James, Vaughn, and everyone else, Ramon, whoever else is on here that we've had, because your stuff disappears. But thank you so much for your comments and participation. And we will see you again next week, hopefully with DJ Kid Disco, so we can have some silly back to the show. God bless you all. Until next time, that's a wrap.
Let me figure out how to turn it off. There we go. Maybe I didn't do it right. Oh, I didn't do it right.